Hello everyone, welcome to my clinical office. This is a new world of self-detoxification, self-healing and self-improvement by natural and holistic methods. We have been taking care of many difficult diseases, including tinnitus and ringing ears, for more than 35 years, so I have a long period of time working with many patients with tinnitus or ringing problems. Today, I just like to talk about the causes of the tinnitus, this is the medical words, or ringing ears, and how to improve them. This is often a very difficult and hard disease because some patients with tinnitus often have to be through very much difficulties in their everyday life, because when you hear something noising, wheezing, buzzing around your ears continuously around the clock, then this is not an easy problem. You cannot get to sleep very well. You are not able to focus on something you have to work on everyday basis. According to many words which is spoken by patients with tinnitus, this is one of the most frustrating and hard diseases. This is not an easy problem. Well, there are many protocols and treatments for the tinnitus or ringing ears, but according to the principles and according to the medical textbook of conventional medicine, there is not proved scientific research for the causes of the disease. Actually, many specialists or medical experts say that there is no real causes for the tinnitus or ringing ears, so you need to help yourself, adjust yourself to the ringing ears, and you need to be tolerant of the symptoms. However, it's not an easy matter for the patient to be tolerant of the symptoms, because the symptoms keep going around the clock continuously without stopping, and this causes a lot of frustration to the patient. So now we are working with the natural medical protocols and holistic medical protocols. So we are now just going to focus on how to find out the real causes of the disease and how to remove them. If we are able to find out the causes and remove them, then this will help very much improve the symptoms and heal the disease, and many patients will feel much better with our natural protocol. The real causes of the disease is not an inflammation or a disease or a tumor around your ears. The real causes of the disease is actually hidden or not widely well known. The real causes of the ringing ears is that the hearing nerves has many difficulties or has some problems. The hearing nerves has the function of transferring the sound signals from the ear to the head. And the central nervous system in your head has the function of interpreting the sound signals that comes from our surroundings. However, if there is something with the functions of the hearing nerves, then the hearing nerves cannot work as well as they did before, and this causes some problems. For example, the important role of the hearing nerves is to, as I said, transferring and delivering the messages of the sound signals. But if the hearing nerves is underactive or are not able to do their work very well, then the distortion of the sound signals may take place as a result of this process, or some noises may occur during the process of transportation of the sound signals. This causes some patients have hearing difficulties because of the underactivity of the hearing nerves, or some patients experience some noises taking place during the course of the transportation of their sound signals. This is the process, how the ringing ears come into existence, whether there is no sound in our environment, and this is the real causes of the disease. However, this cause does not end here. The real problem starts from here. Now, let us find out the real causes of the disease by doing some tests, and by screening the pathological factors in order to set up the nutritional program or natural medical protocols. Now let's explore. Well, as I said, it is necessary for us to approach at the root causes of the disease, because in order to find out the real causes of the disease, then we need to get at the root causes and try to remove them. Well, according to the principles of the conventional medicine, it is very difficult for us to approach at the problem. But through the perspective and through the principles of the natural medicine as well as the holistic medicine, and we can do that just now. This is the image that represents the trunk of the patient's body. Through this image, we are able to understand some pathological factors. This image is very simple, but it has been accomplished through long experiences of our clinical practice. So this is absolutely necessary, the first step we need to take in order to understand the underlying causes. How we can interpret this image? Well, this image represents that the patient have the stronger yin energy. As you know well, according to the principles of Chinese medicine, everybody have the yin energy and yang energy, and the balance between these two energy is very important for us to maintain our health. According to this image, we can see that the yin energy is much stronger in the patient's body than the yang energy, and it is necessary for us to use the herbal formulas in order to increase the yang energy, because yang energy is deficient. For example, the ginger and honey and ginseng may be the necessary herbs to make the yang energy stronger. These herbs is very useful to make the patient feel better, and this will be also at the same time helpful to improve the symptoms of tinnitus. This has been proved by our long experiences of clinical practice, and many patients feel much better when they get these herbal formulas on an everyday basis, and they can feel that they are better by about 1 or 2 months, or when it takes a long time, several months of treatments by these herbal formulas will be enough for the patients to feel better in their symptoms of tinnitus. At the same time, we need to do other screening tests in order to find out the real causes of the disease. And now let us explore the hair toxicity test. This is the hair toxicity test. As you know well, the hair is a very useful tool when we find out the existences of the toxic metals, because the hair mineral test represents some of the toxic metals very accurately, and this will help us to confirm the existences of the heavy metals in our bodies, and we are able to understand that the heavy metals have some connections with the symptoms of the tinnitus, so this is very important. According to the hair toxicity test, we can find out that the patient have the high level of mercury and high level of aluminum. As you know well, the mercury and aluminum is toxic metals. Unfortunately, this mercury and aluminum simultaneously has the great affinity for the nerves in our bodies. This means that the hearing nerves can be damaged by the toxicities of the mercuries and aluminums. So this is the holistic medical point of view, and this is a very useful information when we work with our clients with tinnitus. We have to remove the mercuries and aluminum from the patient's body, and this is a very important first step for us to do in order to resolve the problem. And at the same time, we will monitor other hair mineral tests. Hair mineral test is the same word as the hair toxicity test, because many type of minerals and toxins as well as heavy metals can be manifested in the hair mineral test. So hair mineral test is exactly the same as the hair toxicity test. This is the results of the hair mineral test, and we can find out that the zinc and phosphorus is very low than the ideal levels. This bar represents the ideal levels, so the values of the zinc and phosphorus is very much low. Of course, the chromium and selenium has the lower levels, but it actually, from the viewpoint of the holistic medicine, the chromium and selenium may not have something to do with the development of the symptoms of the tinnitus, so we rule out the connections of the chromiums and selenium with the symptoms of tinnitus. So zinc and phosphorus have a deep relationship with the symptom of tinnitus, so this is a very important factor, and we need to increase the values of the zinc and phosphorus in order to resolve the symptoms. We firmly believe that this is a very important factor, and we need to understand them, and we need to accept the principles of these analysis patterns of the values of many minerals, and we need to understand that, as I said, the heavy metals of the mercury and aluminum have also great connections with the development of the symptoms of tinnitus, and we need to remove them as much as possible. In order to remove the mercury from the patient's body, the patient has to keep himself from eating large fishes. As you know well, the large fishes such as tuna, shark, and salmon have a accumulation of the mercuries very much because they eat the smaller fishes, so the accumulation of the mercuries that has been hidden in the smaller fish's flesh can accumulate for a long by a food chain, and this causes the large fishes have a higher accumulation or higher level of mercuries, and this has been scientifically proved. So the patient have to remove the shark, tuna, or other large fishes from his dining table and try to eat the ground meat. For example, the porks and the lamb and the chicken, maybe the better choices for the patients, because the patient have to remove the mercuries from his body. Also, the aluminum is a very important role in the development of the symptoms, so the patient have to try to avoid getting in contact with their aluminum containing product. For example, the deodorants or canned foods or antacids have the strong possibility that they have the high level of aluminum, so the patient have to get this information and try to remove these products from his everyday life. And this is the best idea in order to work with us, and this has been proved by scientific research already. And at the same time, we have to use some nutritional supplements and detox procedures for our patients. And then these detox programs, as well as the nutritional supplement, which is helpful in removing the symptoms from the patient's body, will work much better than the conventional medical principles, because these natural healing protocols can remove the underlying causes of the disease in this way, and this works much better according to the long experiences of my clinical practice. So I would like to share my clinical experiences with you, and I'm sure this will help many patients with tinnitus or hearing nerves will feel much better when they come to my office or when they get the treatment from holistic medical or natural medical protocols. And I'm sure that everybody who have the symptom with these tinnitus or ringing ears will feel much better sooner or later. Thank you very much for hearing my clinical experiences.